Hey, and welcome to Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. So welcome to Turo Fitness Podcast. Today's episode, I have I would say now friend Don here. We have been working past 3 months together, and Don was one of lucky winners who got 3 months free one-on-one coaching, and now just curious to know how things have developed and what Don have done, what have changed. So first of all, welcome, Don. Thank you for taking time. And if you mind starting a little bit introducing yourself, who you are, how old are you, where you are living, what you're doing for a living, just the normal stuff first.
Sure. Well, I'm 71 years old, and I am a high school teacher in Munster, Indiana, which is about 25 miles away from Chicago. We're on the Indiana-Illinois border. So, it kind of gives it a little different experience than what many people might think about my state. And in addition to teaching, I used to coach volleyball. I don't do that anymore, but I do coach speech and debate. So that does take time as well. And so I try to be active, but that's not been as good as it used to be. And so that's what brought me to you. I'd put on a lot of weight. And then at my age, like people are saying like, oh, you can't, your metabolism has changed and you can't do these things. And, and listening to you and your podcasts and reading some of your posts, I felt that, I gleaned a lot from that. And then when the opportunity to apply for this, I thought this would be, if I could get this might be the jump start I needed. And it has been.
Mm-hmm.
So
awesome to hear. So was there something like did you get some kind of like moment, like often people are getting like that, what was like that now I gotta do something, or what made you to prioritize your own health and fitness?
I just think really caring about my health, and I could tell that with the weight I'd put on and stuff like that, I wasn't caring myself. And I have a sciatica issue, and I just know that the added weight puts added problems with that as well. So for my health is why I really got the motivation to do this. So that was kind of an impetus as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I wasn't doing it by myself. I mean, I truly believe in a coach or something. I mean, I coach students, and there's a reason for it. Well, I think even I could benefit from a coach. So
yeah, no, because that is often these are like as a coach, how valuable is if you have a coach actually, or you have some accountability, because it's not like I don't think now 2024 is like that. There's all information is available. Like you find all the answers you need if you just can search. But then the hardest thing comes like that, because there is so much information. And often, like, at least I feel like that you don't know, then you have like maybe 15 different things, what you should be doing. And then, you kind of don't know where you should focus on. And then in the end, at least for me, if there's too many things, or for many people, if there's too many, you are getting overwhelmed, then how people are reacting is that you end up doing nothing, or kind of trying a little bit of everything. And in the end, It doesn't lead very good results if you do a little bit there, a little bit that, and kind of trying to do everything. And but if you have someone who is holding you accountable, you know exactly what you should be doing. Like, of course, it depends always on what is situation in your life, how much time you have available, how priority it is, and then it's just basically knowing you having the plan and somebody just keeping you accountable.
Absolutely. I actually just had this very conversation about being overwhelmed and not getting things done. And I think that's one of the things that I has helped me with this is having tools to help make certain things more of a priority. Because like you said, it's easy to convince yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. It's not so bad. I can't add one more thing to my plate. It's really, and like you said, knowing I mean, just sometimes even checking in with you, I feel like, I want to have something good to report rather than,
Mhm.
not. And so I think that really helps a lot in
Yeah.
terms of,
Yeah, because this starting to do something like, because it's this is comes like I used to struggle with this also, like especially with my workouts, when often we think like that if it's for example workouts, if I can't work out 3 times a week hour session, there is no point even of starting. And then like, and I remember vividly like one of my clients who is still my clients, we have been working now almost 2 years together. And she initially she got a Christmas present from her husband, and as her lifestyle was very, very, very busy, and then she was doing that online coaching that. What the hell he is thinking like that I'm having a company, I have 2 kids, and you still want me to do even more things. That what is he thinking like that? I don't know how I would be doing. And then it was kind of that all or nothing mindset. And then we started working out with 2 times a week, 5 to 10 minute sessions. And then it took like a first couple of weeks, and then said, okay, now I feel already a lot better, even doing so little. And then we added like 5 minutes there. Then it was the third session, and now it has been past years 3 times a week, 30 minutes, and that is more than enough to keep her back pain away, improve her mental energy, confidence, and everything. So it's really like it is just an example that there is no like such a thing that what is kind of perfect amount or what is worth of doing it. Like, and if you can find 5 minute, 10 minute workout, doing it twice a week just to get started, what feels sustainable at the moment, and then you can. It's so much easier when you have built that habit first, starting to add things more. And was usually how you start to get results. You take action, and then it's when you get action, you get that motivation, and then you find that time what you need. Like, and if you don't find, then you reduce the time again, and it's kind of game like all the time adjusting your efforts, what is possible in every situation. And if you like, I hear still many people that I don't have time at all. And I don't know. I'm sure you know this too. Like, then I said, we all have. That is something like we all have the same 24 hours per day. Obviously, for someone like who have a small kids or whatever, it's there's other higher priorities, but it's still same 24 hours, and it's just about your priorities, how you are going to use that time, and if your own health and fitness is not as high priority that you can't invest any time for that, then that's okay in certain phases. But then just don't. I wouldn't say that you don't have time. It's just I just say that it's not my priority at the moment, which is a different
absolutely.
kind of thing.
Well, I think that's actually the key to it. And I know we're all guilty of this, but I think the problem is like when you feel that you make a priority to things that you feel it's going to impact other people, that we
Mhm.
think and we see that in terms of like, well, I've got to do this because it will matter into my classroom tomorrow or to my family. I've got to take care of these children. What we fail to realize is if we don't prioritize ourselves, then the others aren't going to matter. And because we're not going to have the ability to deal with those things and function properly. And it's really hard to get out of that mindset. I mean, even still, I've wrestled with that, like you said, making it a priority to do those things.
Mhm.
But I think that's what good things I learned from you is the fact that, like, when we start talking, for example, about workouts and doing this, and I said, well, okay, I could do this. He was like, well, let's start with this. I mean, you gave me that sense of reality, like, let's do something that's sustainable. And if that's working, we can add on to it. And it is true. We forget that it's easier to add on than it sometimes is to take back off.
Mhm.
And because you feel guilty, or like you don't feel like, well, I'm really not good. I don't have an hour to do this, but maybe I have 20 minutes to do this. And like you
Mhm.
said, once I can make that commitment, I can add on to it. I just think that makes a lot of sense to me.
Mhm. No, it really does, and it was for me too. Like I was talking myself out of doing strength training for almost decade, and then it was always like I might start it. I didn't have a plan. I maybe did it once, was sore like a hell, and then I said, now I gotta take again talking myself out of it that I'm so sore that I gotta wait, and then something came up, and there was another excuse for myself, and then it was never consistent. But when I decided now it's time to get started, then it's just it's really like there is not such amount of what is perfect amount of workout. Obviously, some weeks it's more, some weeks it's less, but I how everything changed with when I understood that consistency, it matters so much more than aiming for perfect workouts. Like even at the moment, I'm almost ashamed to commit as a fitness professional that I'm strength training maybe 30-40 minutes per week, and that is maybe 1 or 2 sessions, like really short sessions. It's on the other hand its own choice, I know, but it's and I almost always try to convince myself that do I need to do it. I said no, you keep pushing through this period. I know that at some point it will get easier. It's going to be easier to get started. It's I have more time to do it, but now at the moment it is what it is, and that's or I have other priorities, other ways of moving. Like ice hockey season is going on. That's my personal passion, and having a lot of games work. So it's just that promise what I made for myself, and trying to keep that promise. And that has been, if I look back, what kind of results, how I feel, how I haven't got any back pain or any pains what I used to have earlier. And I think that has so much to do with the resistance training. Even it's a form of exercise that I naturally don't enjoy doing, but I think there is a big connection of that and especially feeling and that what I understood or what I talked with also with the many people is that it's not like especially self-employed if you don't get paid per hour being somewhere, but if you get paid how productive you are, and it doesn't matter if you need like 30 minutes less, I'm a lot more efficient if I have done my workout, if I
Mhm.
have done something before and I feel stronger. I'm giving so much more. I don't know how you feel about it. Like when that if you are teaching, if you have done something before, have you tried it, or what kind of experiences you have?
Right. Well, and kind of going off of that in terms of trying to fulfill a commitment of doing it, I'm pretty consistent with, I have one training session. I have a local trainer that I've worked with for years that I go to one day a week, and then I build off of that. So I've tried to add, and that's one of the things when I've worked at. But also, and I think it came out of a conversation we had too, it made me thinking about it, that I try to do more walking just in general. Like,
Mhm.
I make it a point now to, where I wouldn't have in the past, that I get up 2 or 3 times and I walk completely around the room to make
Mhm.
sure that I'm getting in more steps. I mean, it's also being proximity with students. They're busy doing work with their partners and stuff like that, so they don't necessarily need me. But I just
Mhm.
feel like I need to get those extra steps. Or I talk myself out of going to the office because it's really far away. And I know, no, you're going to go to the office this period and get this just because you'll get more steps. Or even to the point now that I used to be the parking lot of the grocery store or whatever, like, what's the closest spot I get? I'm just hunting for an open spot now because
Uh-huh.
I keep telling myself, like, I need to walk more. those extra steps are going to be
Oh yeah.
beneficial. It's not going to hurt me. And so I do that. It's just a trying to
Amazing.
find ways to increase my activity. So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily a formal structure
Uh-huh.
because, like you said, you get overwhelmed, you've committed to things. It's like a busy week.
Mhm.
I know the things that you're involved in, but you're doing so many other activities that it also is helping to your activity in that sense by doing the things you do. So if you're conscious, at least when there are times you can grab things to do,
Mhm.
that's made me think about it more. I think
Mhm.
that's the whole point of all of this is that I think we allow something to become such a habit that it's not done consciously, whether
Mhm.
it be like, mindless eating or
Mhm.
not, focusing on how could I get more movement in.
Mhm.
I think that being more conscious of it and saying, okay, what can you do today that might be better for you than just, sitting there or,
Mhm.
munching on this and that kind of thing. So I think that's a way that I have been trying to deal with
Oh
it
yeah.
when I feel like I'm busy and overwhelmed and like I have this meeting in the evening or I
Oh
have
yeah.
this thing in the evening, so I can't squeeze in a time
Mhm.
to, at least in my mind, exhausted or whatever I feel that can't do it. I'm finding other ways to do something.
Oh
I
yeah.
think doing something's better than nothing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is just an example. It doesn't need to be always workout. Like if you because talk yourself out of doing workout, it's easier. And of course, like depending like what kind of workouts you're doing, but activity, it's something that you can always do. It's just that's a very good point. I love to hear like that. That just starting to think about it like and thinking like that, what is there could I be doing like what could I do, like could I walk, getting those, it might seem a very little like that you get, I don't know, 500 steps more per day, but that actually it sums up and that's probably even, I would say it's even more important than getting some real workout in. If you get consistently that activity outside of your workouts, that is like if you get, I don't know how many steps you are averaging at the moment, but if you are somewhere like 5,000 or below,
Mhm.
you to get that extra 1,000, 2, 3 more.
Right.
That is
Well, think about it. What
amazing
you just said,
progress.
500 extra steps a day, that's 3,500 in a week. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
they add up. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
and then you get used to walking more, that it's not as big of a problem in your mind. As you
Hmm.
say, like, I just did X number of steps yesterday, so come on, I can do this.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
So
I think it's all cumulative in that sense.
yeah, absolutely. And but is it like what kind of, this was one of the points what you were kind of what was a challenge for you, but was there any other, like what were the biggest kind of challenges you faced, and how did you overcome, like this was did you have any other challenges?
Well, this might not say necessarily as a challenge, but one of the things that we talked about, and I told you that I have never been one that would track things,
Hmm.
journal. I just, don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. But, I had committed to doing that. So I really get to the point now, like, oh my God, I haven't entered my, what I've eaten yet or stuff like that.
Hmm.
And even the point that it's also helped me because I'll think I'm going to eat something like, wait a minute. I don't want to put all those points in. No,
Hmm.
I don't need it. You're just like doing it because of reporters like that. So I think overcoming the fact that I'm very knowledgeable about what I am eating now and what it's going to do, and what it's going to impact in terms of what I'm tracking. And that was a big change because I keep marveling that I said, I actually enjoy doing this now. And
Hmm.
I've never liked, on anything, whether I'd have to keep, tallies of it and worry about it and then write a response to about it
Hmm.
kind of thing. And I've always dismissed things because of that. Even like, like people say, use an app, like I really don't want to do that.
Hmm.
But now it's like, yeah, I got to do that. Or I'm starting to think like, should I eat that? Because really, so again, the whole thing that really is kind of funny. I'm just thinking is now that it's just made me much more conscious of
Hmm.
everything I'm doing. And I think the fact that by being more conscious and being aware that helps drive me do things that are better for me,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. And even to the point like, okay, last night we had this special function and then our principal takes the department chairs and takes us out to dinner. And I'm trying to think like, what's this going to be? And I'm tracking my points and like, okay, ate more than I wanted to in terms of that. It was one day, and you've been under
Mhm.
so many days in a row that, okay, as long as you regroup and you think about it, it doesn't become that pattern again. And
Mhm.
I think it's just that incrementally that I have built to the fact of being more conscious and aware of
Oh.
what I'm doing or not doing. And I think that
Mhm.
that's probably been the hardest thing to deal with initially was the food. I think that's so important,
Oh.
but we don't think that is. We start thinking of being more fit, like got to go work out, got to go do this, got
Mhm.
to do that. But you got to figure out your diet first. I truly believe, and that's where
Yeah.
you started me.
Yeah, no, it's that, and that is the most important. Like what you just said, I'm so proud of you, what you have done. And I remember when we talked initially, I asked you that if you have ever tracked, I said, no, I'm not going to track. I'm not enjoy doing it. And then I explained it like that if I would somehow, I would need to know, like if you are telling me like that I'm eating mostly healthy, this is what I'm eating per day, so that I need some kind of information. And the idea was just to track for a couple of days, just to have idea like for a week, include or 3 4 days to getting started doing something. And then now it has been almost 3 months. You have done it like I would not say like almost perfectly, but and you have changed. It's just it all starts to starting, like committing to do something and then seeing, like, then, you can always decide that, no, this is nothing for me. I'm not going to do this and you don't need to do it. But the only goal is it's not to be perfect with hit your proteins or calories or fats or whatever carbs. It's the goal is not, it's the only reason is to become more aware, to become more conscious what you are doing. And then if that is leading, like you said, making every once in a while better decisions about food, we have reached our goal. It's not the tracking your calories or food. It's not a diet. It's just a tool. What, in my opinion, it's not meant to be using the rest of your life. It's just for some point of your life for a short period of time, or who knows, if that benefits you, you enjoy doing it, it helps you so much that there's no why not to do it for the, even because you don't need that much. Once you learn that skill, it takes maybe 5 minutes from your day. So it's not, and if that is a skill what helps you, then why to stop it? But that is all individual and it's just basically getting started.
Well, it
Mm.
also helped me identify the fact that I know protein's important, but to realize how little I really ate when I thought I
Mhm.
was eating more protein. And now it's like become a challenge, like what can I have that will have protein in it, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I think that I'm actually consuming better food now because of that, trying to reach that
Mhm.
protein,
Yeah.
that it's had another benefit to it. And
Oh.
so making me very much aware of it. And it's kind of funny, like I finally hit 100% the other day, and I was really
Um,
excited about that. And we're like, I can't believe something like this is making that excited. But it's like, my mindset was like, no, I want to get more protein. And because I can see how it's helping me with the weight I've lost and things like that. So it just it kind of builds from that first step, but you have to have that mindset to do that. So
mhm. So, of course, yeah, it's like you said, it's first like those small goals, like to have. It's not, the goal is not to hit your protein goal every single day, but it's like you said that it's in the beginning. It's just to, like, because now most of the people know that, okay, protein is important, that I'm consuming some protein, but then on the other hand, they have no idea how much they are consuming or how much they should be consuming. And then when you look those, because it's a lot of protein what uh, you should consume, and in a normal diet it's very hard. It's huge for, like, I would say that over 90% of people are struggling to hit their protein goals. But if you get even a little bit more, then there is going to be so many other benefits, like you are feeling more satiated. It helps
Mhm.
when you are trying to lose weight, that you are not losing weight from your muscles, you are losing it from fat, and so many other benefits. So what you mentioned, you have lost some weight. I'm curious to know, what how much weight you have lost,
I've
or
lost 13 pounds,
wow, amazing.
and inches. I mean, I don't have the exact measure, a couple of inches or so off my body. I definitely started telling it when as it got colder, I started wearing sweaters, and my sweaters were like used to be kind of tight on me, and now like they were kind of
Mhm.
hanging. And I thought, I need to check my weight here. And that's when I knew that I had really started losing weight, and just the more and more that came off. So, it's been, and that was mainly, think about it. Most of my emphasis has been focusing on my diet, and it's just changing my diet that did that part and
Mhm.
increasing the protein, which has satiated my hunger for a lot of times. I think when I would eat things that I didn't really need or want, but I just wasn't filled in the sense of my body, craving something. And I think it's the protein that I really believe has made a big difference in that, of
Mhm.
being fuller and not, and made me more conscious. I know when I shop now, like I look at ingredients more in terms of like fat, protein and carbohydrates. Not that
Mhm.
I would necessarily desire it, but like, okay, if I could get something that has more protein
Mhm.
with these other things, I don't flinch as much as if it's
Mhm.
like one, gram of protein and there's like 35 of this and 12 of that. It's like, I don't know if those are good ratios in my mind. And, is it really a good, healthy choice to eat as well? So, and it's got me thinking about ingredients as well, trying to eat more wholesome foods,
Mhm.
kind of thing as well, which was really funny because as a side growth of this, uh, a fellow chairperson was talking about her son, like something about in terms of ingredients. And I said, it's really weird because I just yesterday I looked at something. No, I'm not getting it because, it doesn't have these healthy things and it's got all these, words that you really can't pronounce. And I said, it's really funny that it's made me more conscious of other things as well in terms of what I
Mhm.
eat and in my
Mhm.
diet. So I think that's a really great side benefit.
Oh, you are, I gotta repeat myself. You are doing amazingly. Because these are the right, like exactly the things like it's not, it's only a couple of months and imagine like that you are making these kind of decisions smaller, which doesn't feel like that, you are on a diet. You are following a strict diet plan or something. It's just really about those small decisions, what you are making daily, like that, what you are buying from grocery stores, which foods you are eating. And then when you are able to make not perfectly, but consistently enough, aiming for a bit smarter choices, it leads for other things like that. You are having less cravings, you are eating less. At the same time, you are thinking about your movement, you are moving a bit more. And imagine doing this for a year, 2 years,
Exactly.
decade. That is going to make huge impact for your health and chasing your well-being. So is there anything else like how your eating habits? Say you mentioned already something like not maybe snacking that much, but how have your eating habits changed since you started?
Well, I know I first of all, mindless eating I think happened more than it should have without really thinking, just because it's
Mhm.
there and you're just crunching
Mhm.
through. Because I'm very conscious of portion, that's probably the biggest change. Uh, like even let's say I will weigh things, never done that before.
Mhm.
Let's say like there's these little treats that I got at Trader Joe's, for example, and I mean, they were healthy choice kind of thing, but the serving was 11 items. I will literally count out 11, and that's
Mhm.
my serving. Before I would just like reach in the bag or pour it in a dish and just eat whatever I poured out. I had no idea how much I was eating,
Mhm.
and I have found, which I was thinking about this the other day, is like you're actually filled with what you eat. It's not like you really
Mhm.
needed more or wanted more.
Mhm.
And so sometimes I think that also causes overeating. So I think that that has changed a lot of how I eat. I used to snack, I think, after dinner. I really don't. If I do, it's something like I might have a glass of skim milk. I've done a protein shake before, but
Mhm.
not really kind of eating kind of food like things. It's not that might have just be adding calories and not any real benefit to me. So that's changed a lot as well.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
So,
No, those
and
are
no, now
so
it's
so
given
happy and
different
so proud of
purpose.
you. So
So,
yeah, this all it sounds like that you know you are not. Do you have feeling of being restricted or that you are kind of missing
oh
out
no,
something?
not at all. I just have to make different choices, maybe. But to me, it fills the hunger, and there are things I enjoy eating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I try to think of other things I used to eat, and it's not like I miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
like I said,
that's
we,
great.
we recently had Thanksgiving in the United States, and which is big food time, and there's different dishes you want. I purposely said like I take a tablespoon from the server thing, and that's all I'd put on there, because I convinced myself like if you really want more after you've eaten all the things you've chosen, you can go get more. But I didn't need to. I was
Mm-hmm.
full, and so.
Wow.
And I think that sometimes the other thing is we pile things on our plate. And, I grew up, my mother truly believed in clean your plate club.
Mm-hmm.
And, you feel guilty if you leave food on there.
Yeah.
So I felt like start small. And if you need to add, you can go back for a seconds. I did not. So
Mm-hmm.
I really don't feel that I'm, deprived at all.
No, that's amazing.
And if there's something I really want, because I know how much it's probably going to be in terms of the calories and everything else,
Mm-hmm.
then that might mean I take a little less of something else because I don't necessarily need or want those other things. If that's
Mm-hmm.
why I start there, and then I can build off of it. It's just an approach that I'm using with me, and but I don't feel like I'm denied anything.
Mm-hmm. No, this is you have done it amazingly. I hope you understand yourself. Uh, I have worked with many people, and this I'm not saying it lightly, but the things what you have done, I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you. That means a lot coming from you because I have a lot of respect for you and all the things that you do and have done for me. So
Oh,
thank
thanks.
you.
So let's talk about your workout. So how your current workout routine is looking like?
I would say they're shaky.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one area I'm trying to improve on. Like I said, the one thing we started out like my back. I'd had some issues with spasms, and it limited me. But I'm committed to trying to be better. This has been a week where I have conflicts, so by 2 days I've committed to it. I have decided I'm going to do them on Friday and Sunday because I couldn't get them done on my Monday and Wednesday route this week, or
Mm-hmm.
didn't get them done. So, they're still in my mind, and there's something I'm striving for. Uh, those are the two additional ones. My regular ones, I've been pretty good about staying with those. So, you know, that's definitely the place for improvement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm not giving up yet. I'm not throwing in the towel on that. I'm not going to ever do it. I just keep trying to do it. Like even if I just get started, like one of the times with the back spasms, I started it, only got so far, but at least I did something. I felt,
Absolutely.
and I think that's part of it. Is I really bought into your argument in terms of things incrementally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like not, I think sometimes, and you'd even said this, maybe people throw themselves in 100% doing something they're not going to continue doing, and then they give up and they don't go back at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so at least this gives me the sense of, okay, this is doable. You can get there. And then once you've achieved that, then we can add on to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a work in progress, I guess you would
Yeah.
say, with my workouts, but
No,
I'm still doing it.
and this is it's one of those things like if you think like in progress, like in general, it's not that that you need to do everything to have amazing results. Because if you think like this is it's so easy to get like what we talked in the beginning, like to get overwhelmed that okay, that you should be working out, you should be getting more steps, you should be tracking your food, you should aim to put your protein higher, aim to eat high protein foods. You should get a good night of sleep. You should drink water. And if you have been like, let's say that there is 10 different things what you should be doing. And now within the first 2 months, you have nailed like 5 of them. What you have been doing so amazingly well. Like you have increased your steps, you have tracked your nutrition, you have become conscious about your choices, making better choices, increasing protein intake. There's so many good things in such a short time that often these kind of things like, that, okay, but I missed one workout or two, I didn't do it. Like this is something for me that, you have to be proud of what you have done and say that, okay, it's still, like you said, it's work in progress. And the goal is like always that it's not that, okay, if you stop and ask yourself that why I haven't been doing, like what I'm telling to myself that I'm not doing it. Is it too long? Is it too challenging? Is it painful? And then when you have the answer, you can ask yourself that what I could be doing to getting at least started. Like you said, that the goal is never to finish your workout. If I think myself, I never want to finish my workout. I just know that I need to get started. And then
Right.
when I know that once I said that, okay, now I can't, I know already before that I don't have time to finish my full workout, but I said, but now I'm keeping promises what I make to myself. I get myself, I change my clothes, I go to, and I do one exercise. If after one exercise I decide that I call it for a day, that's enough. I'm happy with that. That's okay. That's totally fine. But I also know that once I get started, I get usually at least two exercises. And that
Hmm.
is, of course, always better than nothing.
Right.
So it's just the way and changing the way how we try to talk to ourselves, but also not thinking that, you should be from the beginning, that you should be doing everything. Like, let's say that I'm kind of big believer of that why if you think that, okay, workouts, I think that at least something you should always do, especially some kind of resistance training, but that you have already been doing. If goal is to do more, then of course you do more or keep that goal in your mind. But on the other hand, like that, there's not such a number than what is a perfect amount of
Right.
workout or how long it should be. And if you like, why you wouldn't give credit to yourself, pat your back and say that, don't I've done amazing job. Like if you just look your how you are feeling, how is your progress, how much weight you have lost, or it doesn't always need to be some visible, but it's often those mental changes which are obviously more valuable than seeing number on the scale, because seeing lower number on the scale, it's not very hard, to be honest, to get it done if you are just moving a lot, not eating a lot, or especially reducing your carbohydrate, sodium. You're losing water weight. So to get scale moving is not hard for a couple of days, but it's not going to stay in that way. But when you do it like how you have done it now, it's kind of side effect that you have list of actions what you are focusing on, and doing them consistently enough, it's going to lead that weight loss what you have
Hmm.
already achieved, and you have done it so well.
Well, thank you. I feel pretty good about what I've done too. So I appreciate that. And kind of going along with what you said, it's kind of a thing I look at and I kind of got myself away from it, but I truly believe in and I even tell this to my students, you strive for improvement, not perfection,
Mhm.
because you're not ever going to be perfect. But what are things you do? But I also like the fact that, you and I communicated with you about the one home workout thing I was doing and that exercise was just causing more problems than not. And so, well, let's switch it up. What do you think you could do? And I think that's a lot of times what we do. We have this plan that we have to do A, B, and C, and
Mhm.
A, B, and C doesn't work for you in the sense that whether it's mentally or physically or whatever, and you just stick with it because that's what you think you're supposed to do.
Mhm.
But there's other things you could do that will be as effective as that, and you got to be willing to change and adjust to it rather than give up. And I think that's the harder challenge at times. And like you said, there's other things that I've changed along the way. I do drink more water. Am I consistent about drinking as much as I want? Not necessarily, but I do drink more than I did. And so that's better. I'm better
Mhm.
than what I was. So,
Oh yeah. And these are all things like they are small things, but they are improvements, because it's not like how are you going to feel the difference? Maybe not, but how it's going to affect for everything, and how you're going to, if you keep doing those kind of things and adding these
Mhm.
things up, time is working for you, not against you. And that is always to keep in your mind, and saying that even if you have those 10 things what you aim to do, if you consistently, you can always periodize them, because it's probably unrealistic for most people to try to do every 10 things perfectly. And but if you aim for prioritizing, like that, now for this month, it's going to be these 5 things. Next month, I prioritize, I keep 3 of them, change 2 of them, or maybe one of these things becomes already habit, kind of automatic thing what you are doing, without actually that it doesn't take too much willpower or anything like that. Now you are already drinking water, for example. It's, you have always your bottle visible, you get your water in every single day, so it's not any more challenge. Then you can add something more, or you are already consciously tracking your food, or you know that how your day is looking, so you don't have to pay too much energy on it. And then, then that's the time when you can add maybe one, maybe 2 more things on your plate, and not trying to kind of get everything done in the beginning. And that's why never forget that or feel guilty about not accomplishing all your workouts, because you have already done so many changes.
Well, doing some is better than none. So I think
Yeah.
you have to look at it like that sometimes too, that at least I did this much, I did it, not do it. So I think that helps a lot too, thinking that I'm just going to be better the next time and,
Yeah.
just keep moving on.
So with your busy schedule, like, how do you find the time to prioritize your fitness? And if you have any tips for someone else who is struggling with this?
I almost think of it like, when I have a meeting, I put it in my calendar
Mhm.
and I know I have that. It's almost like I have to plan, like, when am I going to do it? Because it, it has to be a priority.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes it's hard for people to prioritize themselves over other, in their minds, people. But I think you have to look at it like it's kind of like if I were injured and I had to go to a physical therapist, I have an appointment I go to. So I try to plan just like in that mindset, I have an appointment. Or like when I meet with my one trainer, that I have an appointment every week at this time, I have to be
Mhm.
there. So I have just like when I'm planning out for the week, things I'm going to, get at the grocery store to have to eat, I have to plan when am I going to work out?
Mhm.
What days, what time, kind of thing. It's just another priority you make in your life, and you have to put it at the top
Mhm.
because everything can then center around it. And that's hard. I mean, I'm not always good about that myself. That's always my goal is to do
Mhm.
that. But I just think you have to make it where it's a part of your day. You have to figure out where can I squeeze in. And like you've told me, 20 to 30 minutes is better than doing none. And you can't start out going with like an hour workout or whatever. So I think if you can find a time to do it, some people can get up early in the morning and do it. I'm not one of those people. But I'll do mine in the evening and I have to plan a time when that would work best, a kind of approach. And that's the key to anything. You got a plan.
Mhm.
And without a plan, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
If like, I'll figure it out later, doesn't
Mhm.
really tend to happen.
No, no, or it doesn't go, at least not that well as it would be planned.
Right. Because even if you have a plan and something comes up, okay, I was going to do it here. Where can I do it? Like I told you, just the way this week has worked out for me, I know I was going to be able to do these things on Monday and Wednesday. Like I was gone the whole evening at this, function thing with, our school. And I said, all right. And you didn't be able to get it in on Monday either. So when were you going to do it? So I made the plan. These
Mhm.
2 days will work for me. I will
Yeah.
make them work on those days. So,
Mhm. Yeah, that's ultimately how it should be. And don't say that you can't. Is it when you can, and then if you can, if you keep telling yourself that, but I can't do that much, how much I can, and getting at
mhm.
least started. It's, if it's maybe some days it's going to be one push up or whatever, one squat, and then you call it a day because you didn't have time, but at least you started and you get promises
Mhm.
what you made to yourself.
It didn't leave your schedule completely.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, that's what we do in so many other parts of our lives.
Hmm.
You know, some days you're really, really productive, and others day like not necessarily so
Yeah.
much. You didn't get certain things done that you needed to get done, but I'll get them done tomorrow. As long as
Hmm.
you get them done tomorrow, it's okay. You know, I
Yeah.
think you have to. I think a lot of times people just give up, like I didn't get to do it on these 2 days, and so I'm done. You know, or like you said, at least if I did 2 exercises, maybe I did some squats, you know, and something else, then that's great because it's still 2 more things than I was doing before.
Hmm.
You
So
know.
to change a little bit topic, like because obviously you are not doing this by yourself or you are not alone. So how important has that support from the others been in your journey? And if you could share some how coaching have impacted your progress.
Well, I think it's absolutely important. I mean, I think it's the cornerstone of what I do. I think accountability is the most important thing because, yes, you can be accountable to yourself, but you're not always objective about it. Or you see certain things you do and what you're doing is might not be helpful as you might think it is. Um, you don't necessarily you're not the expert in that particular field necessarily, and so having someone who has expertise, like, you know, just in talking with you in terms of things like tracking, yeah, I knew it was out there, but then we talked about it and you said just try it for a few days and see how it goes. All right, I'll try it, and you know that, and then we communicated about how that was going and what I liked, or you know, getting feedback, or like we talked about, could I add some workout to my plan, and having that supportive saying like, and I go, okay, well, I could do this. This is, I think I could commit to this. And you're like, how about we commit to this much? And let's see how that goes. I think sometimes like the old phrase was like, you bite off more than you can chew. And we want to do all these things. And I think having that feedback is important. I mean, I do that myself with the students I work with. I'm giving them feedback, you
Mhm.
know, so they can be better at it or understand something better or do better at it. And I think I look at that as the same thing as what this has given me is that I'm getting feedback. If it's working, great, keep doing that. Now let's add something else because I'm not certain. I would think like, let's add drinking more water. Let's do
Mhm.
this. Even though I know it's there and would be better for me, it's that dialogue, that thinking about it, bringing focus to it, making it more of a priority in there. It's constantly in my mind where it's easy for you to get distracted and go elsewhere with
Mhm.
what you're doing with your time. So I think it's essential. I think it's the like I said, the cornerstone of anything you do. I mean, you look at CEOs of corporations, they have coaches. You look at
Mhm.
professional athletes, they have coaches. I think that accountability is necessary
Mhm.
to keep you focused on what you're doing. It's easy to get unfocused at
Okay.
times. So I think that's been key to my success.
Yeah. No, and I think it helps, but ultimately you have done the work. You,
Correct.
you have done the work.
And I totally get that because the students will say something like that with me, and I'll say, "No, you did it. You know,
Mhm.
I helped you along, but without that help, I wouldn't have done it." So I think it's a team effort in a kind of way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's well said. So hour is almost done, and I think I would keep talking with you, but I know you have a busy schedule. I don't want to keep keep you too long. But what kind of long-term goals? Last question. What kind of long-term goals in your health and fitness? What do you have, and how you plan to achieve them?
Well, my long-term goals is, I mean, as an output of that, obviously, is losing weight because I just think that would be better for me health-wise. But I think that having a more consistent diet that has a high protein base with it, it is very beneficial to me. I think having more movement and working out, which is better for my, you know, body in terms of being able to physically do things, especially as I've gotten older. I think that's really essential in that. So I would like to continue what I'm doing and build off of that. It's mainly it.
Amazing. And I'm pretty sure you will. You have
I
started
hope so.
so
Thank
well.
you.
And with your mindset, attitude, what you have been doing, I'm pretty sure you will still achieve amazing things.
I hope so too. That's my plan.
Yeah. So is there anything, I don't know if you are in social media, anywhere, if you want to share something, feel free to share how to people can reach out, or if you want to share anything.
Well, I have a Facebook and I have Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And, my Facebook is just my name, Don Fortner. And my Instagram, I believe, I have to check because, I don't really Instagram myself. I think it's under DJ Fordo, but I have to make
Mm-hmm.
sure
Yeah,
that that's
I
true.
will put link to show notes
Okay.
if you
It
want.
is DJ
So,
Fortner, and my name's with it too, Don Fortner. So,
mm-hmm.
if anybody has any questions or wants to reach out, feel free to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be happy to communicate with them about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Don, to your
Well,
time
thank you.
and sharing your journey. I hope this helped someone.
I do too, because it's helped me. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.